And just to try and link the conversation that Riva is having and coming to you, Alan, you've been coordinating a lot of conversations around tax justice for quite some time now, and have also been the focal point of the Financing for Development Children and Youth constituency. So my question to you is, this entire process of coming up with the UN Tax Convention, what does it mean for the people? What does it mean for the citizens? What does it mean for the various constituents that you deal with?
Thank you, Lurit. I think it's very simple. We are at a time where we are responding to various, I will call them challenges or crises, or whichever way you look at it. From here in Africa, we're looking at issues of unemployment, of forced immigration, of peace and security. You go to Europe, you're finding affordability issues, you're finding student debt. Basically, there's quite a lot that is happening because states are not being able to deliver on their core mandate, providing certain services or certain environments where people can thrive, where people can. And if you look, for example, even in the US, even where in the global north, where someone will say, but I work 3 jobs, but I can't pay rent, I can't, I choose between medication and food or something like that. So I think we're at a point where we are facing multiple crises, and whether it's climate induced challenges in whichever country you could think about, small islands, countries, and all that. So, and all those challenges, if you look at them, and that what River was talking about, is that they stem from a fact that states, whichever state you look at right now, are not really doing what they're supposed to do to facilitate people having livelihoods that they're supposed to have in a century or in a time where we've seen the most wealth created, where we've seen the most prosperity created, where we've seen the best technology created. So the question would be that with all that advance, why are we still not being able to afford basic life as young people? You don't have a job, you can't afford a meal, education, you're in debt. So, and when this conversation then comes in, then the question is, and it would also came in when we're doing advocacy around budget advocacy, especially me where I came from. You'd go and say, we need resources in this, we need resources in this. Then governments will say, we have infinite demands. The resources are finite. They are very limited resources. How are we supposed then to put them everywhere so that everyone benefits? So then it meant that we had to look at the side of how then do we get more resources? Where is this money that everyone is looking for? If you look at the dominant, for example, conversation that was dominant in the US election was issues of debt, issues of affordability, the economy. When we come to Kenya here, we had issues around the finance bills. Every time you feel the government in your pockets, the question is, how is it that I'm feeling it on the side of taking away and not it may be reducing on some of the challenges or working on some of the challenges that we're having. So it came to that the question then became, where are all these resources? How is it that, and well, maybe what I would like to add on the global side is that when this conversation started, it was meant to look like it's only countries in the global south that are losing money due to some of these illicit financial flows, tax havens, and all that. True, we lose the most, but even our counterparts in the global north realize that you're having billionaires, but the money is not coming in like the way it's supposed to be. Even though for you, or even though for them, they benefited from systems like slavery, like colonialism, and all that. But even them now, they're having the same challenge, and they are the same perpetrators. They are the same companies that are polluting. They are the same companies that are benefiting from tax havens. They're the same companies. If you look at who is mining where and not paying their fair share, most of, especially they are the same companies. And I was seeing something recently. One of Congresswoman from the US was attributing 40% of the growth of their economy to just 7 companies. So in the books, you're saying we're having economic growth. In our countries, they are saying 6%, 7%. But in actual sense, if you look at your sort of quality of life, it hasn't changed. Actually, it's becoming worse. So I think that's then where different constituencies are coming in, different young people, whether you're dealing with student debt in Europe, whether you're dealing with unemployment here in Eastern Africa, whether you're dealing with forced immigration in the Sahel, and whichever problem young people are dealing with, I think we can be able to connect that problem to states being able to require resources to finance and invest in sectors that are critical to our well-being and us developing our livelihood. So it became a conversation that we could not avoid anymore, because every time we would say we need money, the question would be, where is the money? So with a lot of work that has been ongoing, we've identified that actually there are resources. We are not getting them because some countries have either become tax havens, or they've facilitated multi corporations not to be able to pay their fair share of tax, or that there are systems that we inherited that initially were extractive systems. We just took over them as countries, and then they still perpetuate the same sort of problem that we're having. So, what is then happening is that then we say we need to have a look at this whole system. And the idea is that anyway, they are the same perpetrators, we are the same victims in every circumstance. So, we had to come on board and see how we can be able to have this conversation and see how we can then change the rules that govern taxation, basically, or govern revenue mobilization at this level. Yeah, so that's how I would say that that's how we are connected in all this. We are the victims, and they are the same perpetrators. So we have to have our voice on this.